And our top story tonight, sadly, 4 people have died after a boat carrying migrants got into trouble attempting to cross the English Channel in the early hours of this morning. Now, it's thought around 30 others were also rescued from the water. Let's get more on that story. I'm joined now by Clare Mosely. She works for the charity Care For Calais. Good evening to you, Claire. This is the worst case scenario for you, the work that you do. Just tell us what it was like just hearing the news that sadly we did lose migrants overnight.
It's absolutely devastating. We've spent the last year supporting the families of the 32 people who died a year ago. Just 3 weeks ago, we were at the vigil with them in London to mark the anniversary of those deaths, and their grief is not diminished at all. They've had a year of incredible pain and loss, and seeing them again and hearing them talk about how they have nightmares about their relatives drowning, about the cold and the fear and the pain they must have felt. It's just awful, because now we know there's at least another 4 families who are going to have that pain, not just today, but over the coming years and months. And once more, we're going to have people asking themselves questions of why it happened, of how frightened their relatives must have been, of whether there could be more people whose bodies are missing. I'm just devastated to hear that more people are going to have to face that horrible, horrible pain of this happening to their family members.
And this comes, Claire, the day after the Prime Minister announced his 5-point plan. Today, Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, the rhetoric is softer, but ultimately sticking to that plan. What do you make of that?
Just makes this even worse, because for us it is completely unnecessary, and any death in the Channel is 100% preventable. If you remember what we saw with Ukraine, refugees from Ukraine were offered visas for safe passage to the UK, and that meant that none of them got in small boats and none of them paid people smugglers, because they didn't have to. Because if you give refugees a safe and legal route, they take it. And the people that we work with in Calais, they have come from the worst things in the world. They've come from conflicts, they've suffered human rights abuses, they've suffered torture. These are people who really do deserve our help. And if these refugees were offered visas in the same way that the Ukrainians were, they would not be getting in small boats, they wouldn't be paying people smugglers. So for us, there is no way.
But Claire, sorry, really, really quickly, briefly, if you can, the government's argument is that they need to do something to deal with the people smugglers, and this is the way to do it. What do you think?
It isn't. If there was a safe and legal route, people would take it, and the people smugglers would be put out of business overnight. It's simple. We've seen it. It worked with Ukrainians. It will work again.
So I actually do have more time with you, Claire, and which is brilliant, because we're hearing from our viewers, 5 News viewers, exactly what they do want the government to do. We're going to hear from them in a moment. What do you want as somebody, as I say, working in the charity in this sector, in a charity in this sector?
The people that we work with have suffered incredible hardship. I can't think of anybody who deserves our help more. And all the data shows that they are genuine refugees. When they come to the UK and make their claims, 80 to 90% of their claims are processed and they're given asylum. That means they need it. So the people in Calais who do have eligible claims for asylum, they should be given safe passage to the UK. We've done it before and it worked, so we can do it again. The way that the government talks about them, they criticise them for making illegal journeys when they have no choice, when there is no safe and legal route for them. That's incredibly misleading and incredibly unfair.
Okay.
In fact, it's victim blaming, and that's not right.
Clare Mosely from the charity Care For Calais, thank you so much for joining us on 5 News tonight.